My guest tonight is 1/3 of the multi-platinum rap group Migos and 1/2 of hip-hop's most intriguing Marriage 2. Now he's producer and judge of a new reality competition show called The Hype, premiering August 12th on HBO Max. Please give it up for my boy, Offset! How did you get your name?
As a kid, I was always a little off. So I knew I was gonna be on set of the camera, so I just put the set at the end, so you got Offset.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Did Quavo and Offset really disrespect the tribute to their late fellow member Takeoff? Well, by the looks of it, we will be getting more information about this than just Cardi shouting, because Quavo is finally speaking up. There were rumors circulating that Quavo thinks that Offset and Cardi both betrayed Takeoff. What really happened, and why is Migos even involved in such an incident? Many of you heard about this physical altercation that happened between Quavo and Offset. I mean, it happened at the Grammys, so it is impossible that people would not be able to notice about this alleged brawl. People are really curious as to why Quavo seemed to have so much hatred towards Cardi and Offset. Is it really because of Takeoff, or is there another reason for this? Considering that these three have had a close relationship with Takeoff, people expected them to be much closer to each other after they all lost Takeoff. But it seems like things are just getting more heated with Takeoff dead. Of course, people were quick to point out and notice that there is probably something wrong with the relationship even before, when Takeoff was still alive. It is only now that they're revealing this bad blood between them. This fight apparently happened just before Quavo performed a tribute for Takeoff. People always have speculations, and it is not hard to form any theory if there are any sources speaking up about the issue anyways. According to some sources close to Quavo, Offset and Cardi never really liked Takeoff in the first place. News about Takeoff dying made headlines. It's still kinda recent since it happened in November of 2022. This took place in a bowling alley in Houston, Texas. I bet that you've heard what happened, and it is not good. Takeoff was with him when the altercation transcribed. Both of them attended a private party at the said place, not knowing that something unforeseen is about to change their lives. Reports were saying that the altercation started just because of a dice game. Police report would later reveal that there were 2 guns that were fired during that time. Takeoff's record label, Quality Control, immediately released a statement about what happened. According to them, Takeoff was not the intended target and that he's just a victim of a stray bullet which killed him. After the people close to him knew about this, they were totally wrecked, knowing that Takeoff is just a victim and things would not have happened if he was not in there at the wrong time. People of course expected that his remaining bandmates, Quavo and Offset, will be much closer than they ever did, but what happened is the opposite. Rumors about misunderstanding in the group have sparked ever since the start of 2022. That just means that even though Takeoff was still alive, the feud already started. In his Instagram post, Quavo had teased about his new collab project with Takeoff. So in May of 2022, Hotel Lobby was released. This was the first single from Quavo and Takeoff. Just by this, fans immediately know that there must be some beef going on between Migos. Just a few days after the release of the single, both Cardi and Offset unfollowed Takeoff and Quavo on Instagram. Now because of this, Migos breaking up is not just a rumor anymore. This news even became more real when the group decided to pull out of their supposed performance at the Governor's Ball in New York. This was in June of last year as well. Well, it looks like a lot of things happened between them in 2022. But before we get deeper into the video, if you love Cardi and want to know more about Offset and Quavo, then make sure that you subscribe to our channel right away. I will keep you on the loop about the latest happenings in their life and more.
Let's talk about your first date with your wife.
My first date, I went big. I wanted to do something that was not normally done, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to have fun.
Right.
And not so serious and like, you know, enjoyable time. So I took her to the Super Bowl.
Okay, which Super Bowl was that?
I don't know the number.
No.
But I know who's playing, though.
Who played?
Atlanta Falcons, my team.
Okay.
Versus them Patriots.
You know what? I was at that game, too.
Now, going back to our video, like what I mentioned earlier, there must be something more about this feud and trust Quavo to drop some hints with regards to what happened to them. Remember Quavo's ex-girlfriend, Saweetie? Quavo had hinted on the possibility that Saweetie slept with Offset on new track Messy. Anyway, there is no confirmation about this and this was just alleged, but you know how things start in the industry, right? people usually have a basis for their theories anyway. Many have pointed out the fact that even though Offset cheated on Cardi, she still took his side in that situation. People even speculated that Cardi used her influence and power to get Saweetie removed from the viral hit FNF. Saweetie even posted about this before, that she's going to take part in Glorilla's track, but when the remix was released in September, Saweetie's verse was scraped. This strengthened people's theories that Offset cheated on Cardi with Saweetie, and Cardi decided to deal with it by siding with Offset and removing Saweetie from the said remix. To put an end to the speculations, Quavo and Takeoff finally addressed the issue when they guessed in the Big Facts podcast. Even though they did not directly answer the questions about Migos breaking up, Quavo said some more juicy stuff than that. He claimed that he would want to continue as a duo. When they were asked about Migos, Quavo said, "We want to see our career as a duo." They also made it clear that their record label has nothing to do with their decision to continue as a duo. That's not the end of it. Quavo went on and pointed out the loyalty and the lack of it from Offset somehow played a role in this decision. It looks like whatever Offset did, it certainly affected Quavo's trust in him that he does not even consider working with him in the future again. But as for Takeoff, he's not putting an end to any possibility, saying that only time will tell. But even though Takeoff is open to working with Offset again, he would not be able to do so anymore. Of course, Quavo left a message for his late nephew, Takeoff. He actually talked a lot about him on his Instagram account, and it is so obvious that he was hurt about what happened to him. He wrote, "You never competed with me, we were always on the same team." He also mentioned that Takeoff was always the quietest and most unbothered person that he knows. He added, "He never worried about titles, credit, or what man got the most shine, that wasn't him." Of course, people immediately picked up on the shade that Quavo threw to Offset. Whether the line was supposed to be a jab at Offset, people really do believe the possibility. Rumors have been going around as well that the reason why Quavo and Takeoff decided to be a duo is because Offset thinks that he's bigger than the two already. Well, that is a good speculation actually. Why else would they leave Offset behind anyway? When Takeoff died, even though they're not on the best terms, Offset still left a message for Takeoff at his Instagram account. He wrote, "The pain you have left me with is unbearable." If you were able to see this, you would also know how Offset seemed to really be regretting not being able to fix their misunderstandings before he passed away. Cardi, on the other hand, immediately addressed what happened to Takeoff. Cardi talked about how she felt with what happened to Takeoff, and not just that, but she also addressed what the family is going through because of his sudden death. She also left a very long message for Takeoff on her Instagram account. Cardi wrote, "The emptiness your brothers are feeling is unbearable, and I pray that you give Offset, Quavo, and your friends and family the strength to keep going as they are trying to cope with the loss." She went on by saying, "It hurts because I know it will never be the same again, but I know your brothers and y'all fans will make sure the world will never forget the impact you made." But even though Cardi must be wanting the same thing as Takeoff, Quavo and Offset have a different perspective about the situation. Quavo performed a tribute to Takeoff at the Grammy Awards. Quavo sang while there was an empty seat beside him and a Takeoff's chain hanging from the microphone. The performance was so heartfelt, but little did they know that their misunderstanding would force them to engage in a physical brawl. Even though it was a beautiful moment, it will later be forgotten by people because they would be more focused on what happened just moments before that performance. There have been clips that circulated where Offset was being escorted out of premises after the alleged altercation. As reported by TMZ, Quavo was the one who actually started the fight. I mean, if we think of all the shade that he had thrown Offset, it's obvious that he's got so much hate. As reported by TMZ, the Grammys had actually asked Offset to be a part of that tribute, but Quavo refused to let him take part. Even though fans are taking sides and many are defending their actions, there are people that are saying that they're both wrong in the situation. This is because both of them disrespected the tribute for Takeoff. Well, that is true though, because they could have picked a different time and place for their misunderstandings. They should have just set aside their differences for just that moment if they truly care about Takeoff. So now, will Cardi be playing as a mediator once more between these two? Well, they obviously went through a lot together and they should have known what Takeoff would want for both of them. The clip of their said fight was not really caught on cam, but in the video, we can clearly hear every word that Cardi was shouting. Cardi said, "Both of y'all are wrong, both of you, this is not right." People pointed out that Quavo must just be really affected by how Offset was the first one to not be loyal to them. But it also does not justify his act of not allowing Offset to perform with him for Takeoff's tribute. I guess they're all to blame for dealing with it in the worst possible time. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out these videos.